Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Series, where we are here every Wednesday to help you to look outside the box, to consider what would you do, who would you be if you could look at life from a different perspective, if you opened your mind to other opportunities and possibilities that were out there. Truly, what would you do with your life? And how would that help you to live that healthy, happy lifestyle you've always dreamed of so you can flourish in life? So each week we have amazing world-class experts who join us here on the Wonder Series to excite, engage, educate, and empower you to make those tough decisions. Sometimes they're tough, sometimes they're not, but to make those decisions to increase your health and wellness, whether it's in your physical, mental, financial health and wellness, your personal growth, or bringing more fun into life. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Denise Stegall. I am your host here of the Wonder Series, which is presented here by Living Healthy List, or sponsored by Living Healthy List. And you can find more information about me and Living Healthy List on livinghealthylist.com. So we have been talking, so this month we are talking about resilience when it comes to your finances. So this fits in really well with that financial wellness piece that I mentioned a few minutes ago. And I'm really excited to introduce you to my friend, Michelle Robinson, who is our special guest today. A little bit about Michelle. Michelle and I met a couple of years ago during doing a mastermind. So we were in a mastermind together. So obviously, like-minded people get together and have a lot to talk about. So Michelle is a married mother of 4, and she is the grandmom of 2 beautiful babies. She's been in financial service business since 2007, and she thrives on helping people reduce debt, save money, and get ahead, AKA flourish. She has many creative hobbies like painting, cooking, gardening, and apparently she just picked up crocheting. So we may have to touch on that. And I know we will talk a little bit about gardening and how that fits in with your overall health and wellness and your financial wellness. So, hey, Michelle, welcome to the Wonder Series.
Hi, good afternoon, Denise. How's everybody?
Life is good here. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Life is good. How about by you?
Oh, same here. It's a gorgeous day here. I'm closer to the shore, so it's really beautiful here. And it's funny. One of the things that my husband and I do, we both are in business together. We're business partners. So one of the things we make sure to do every Thursday, we have a 4-hour vacation. We go to Ocean City. We're on the beach by 6:30, 7 o'clock, coffee in hand. We walk 5 miles. We get off the beach, have breakfast, come home, and back to work. It's so refreshing. And I highly recommend, because it's before everybody else gets there. It's quiet, and just let the sea take your troubles away.
I love it. Okay, I'm a little green with envy. Can't you tell? The green color. That seriously, I am truly envious of that. I grew up on Long Island, so I love being by the water. Mark and I always, we're beach people, but we're landlocked here in Minnesota. So we get out to the beach as often as we can, because like you said, it is like there's something refreshing and rejuvenating about being by the ocean. Excuse me. So
absolutely.
And and this actually ties into that piece, that financial wellness piece, that what we'll be talking about. So let's talk financial resilience. What does that, when you hear that, what does that mean to you? And how does that apply in your business working with clients?
Okay, when we talk about financial resilience, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, something happened and we need to bounce, right? We need to bounce back, right? So number one, emergency fund. That is, if you have nothing else, you better have some money stashed away. And I don't care if it's in your sock drawer. Okay. I really, because this has to be liquid money you can get to right away. So financial resilience, a lot of us, we change jobs. Sometimes there's a divorce. Sometimes there's a death. The name of the game is preparedness. Preparedness will help you to be more resilient in your finance. So, and preparedness is probably going to be the key word of the string and the theme throughout everything I have to say today.
So how do we get prepared? I remember when I was first out of college, I had some college debts to pay. I had to, had an apartment. I wasn't making a lot of money right out of college. How do you prepare? How do you speak to somebody who's in that situation, whether they're right out of college or in their 20s and 30s or even 40s, going, I'm just not making enough money to be prepared for anything? How does that conversation go with that client?
Okay, so that's going to be twofold. I don't like to use the word budget because budget sounds like diet, and who enjoys that? Nobody, right? So let's just say we prioritize and give each of our dollars an assignment. Okay. So if you're just out of college, not making what you think is enough money, you still have to prioritize savings and paying yourself first. Literally, if you remember nothing else that I say today, remember to pay yourself first. So most people say, when I make more money, I'll save more money. When I get out of this debt, I'll save more money. But that's not true. That's like saying, I'll go to the gym when I lose weight. I'll go to the gym. Once I'm toned up a little bit, I'll go to the gym. So, the name of the game is, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. I don't care if it's $10 a week.
Yeah.
Right. You have to start from where you stand. That's another big thing too. The topic of money and personal finance tends to be emotionally charged conversations. And my advice always is if you can just tone the emotion down a little bit and realize that we're just talking about numbers. We're talking about numbers. Money is a tool. And if every one of your dollars has an assignment, and when I say assignment, I mean savings, I mean, your bills, your rent, all of that. Also, you need to assign some of that money toward entertainment. Otherwise, the whole thing caves in. It's like going on I hate to even say it, it's like going on a 0 sugar diet forever for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
With 2 grandbabies and birthday parties, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, that's so true. And it's I'm glad that you say that, because one of the things that we focus on, or we talk about it at Living Healthy List, is obviously health, wellness, all around that, personal development, but fun. Because if you have those other pieces in place, but you're not having any fun, it's almost kind of like, well, what's the point? So exactly what you're saying. If you're not having any fun and you're not having, putting any of those dollars to entertainment, at some point, something's got to give.
Exactly. Because you'll just be frustrated and tired and feel like you're the mouse on the wheel, and it's not going to work out. So if you can just assign your dollars, one trick that, my husband and I, we've been high, we've been low, we've been everything in between. And when things were low and things were tight, we need to tighten the belt. One little trick we do is we don't spend our fives. We don't spend our fives. Okay. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times I pay cash for things. I don't use the card. When I pay cash, I'm more conscious of what I'm spending. Okay. Sure. So when we get change back and it's $5 bills, I stick them in a jar. And then over time, we're either renting an Airbnb or for the weekend, or we're, going out to a really nice dinner or treating our kids to something, or, that's one thing we love to do. We love to take the kids out to dinner in Atlantic City. Love doing that.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
I love the concept of not spending the fives. When you first said that, I was like, what is she talking about? But once you made it clear, I was like, because what happens, I either have $1 in my wallet or I have $100. And if I didn't spend the 5, so every time I broke a 20, if I just put one of those 5s back away, I would have 5, 10, 15, 20, $25.
Right.
To do the numbers there. I couldn't talk and think at the same time.
Yeah. And then when you're, sometimes you might be craving something shiny. That's my downfall. I might need a new necklace. I might need a handbag. You never know when that mood strikes.
Right. But even still, especially for people who are saying, I don't have I'm not making enough money to, save. I just saved $25 that, in that conversation that we just had, that could go right to savings or a savings account or a retirement account.
Mhm. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people do use that sentence. I'm not making enough. I don't have enough money for that. One of the tricks of this tool of giving your dollars an assignment is, yes, you do have enough money for all of it. Yes, you do. But that's going to, lead into the next, it's a great segue, is maybe there truly is not enough money. Maybe there truly is not enough money. There's a lot of people in that boat. I would say 60% of Americans cannot get their hands on $1,000 currently.
Mhm.
Okay, these are statistics that you can look up, or I can send you a slide afterwards. But 60% of Americans cannot get their hands on $1,000. In case of emergency, all bets are off. Okay, save your fives. There's probably 40% of Americans have zero life insurance.
Wow.
So if you are, if someone is dependent upon your income for their survival, that's important. That's really important. And then retirement. There's, a large percentage of people are scared they're going to run out of money because they didn't prepare, or the pandemic happened, or 2008 happened, or they had to pull out of that 401k for whatever reason to survive. Right. So, some of my colleagues in the business would say, oh, you don't have enough savings. Let's open up an IRA. Oh, no life insurance. Here's some life insurance. Oh, you don't have enough, you can't get your hands on some extra cash. Okay, let's start an emergency fund. Well, how are you going to do that if there's not enough money?
Right.
Which is, that comes to my second biggest point is you need a side hustle. You need a side hustle. I don't care if you're crocheting baby dinosaurs and selling them on Etsy. Not saying that I do that, but I know someone.
She might.
I can refer. I don't care, if you are growing zucchini in your backyard and then selling zucchini bread for $1.75 to people that everybody needs a little something, a little side something. And there's two reasons why. I'm going to tell you, if you have a job, if you're listening to this podcast and you have a job, I promise you, if you were to die, your boss would replace you tomorrow. Right. So it's always good to have a little something in your back pocket.
Yep.
Little ace up your sleeve. Yeah. To fill in the gaps.
I totally agree with that. And one of the things that, we've said to kids, and even when I was going to college and I'm not a kid, we would always say to kids, oh, find something that you love and then find a way to make money doing it. And, then we had kids going to college for organic gardening, which is great as a side hustle. And we'll talk about some gardening because I do some gardening also, but, or they were going to college for, getting these degrees and getting into debt. And getting out of college and not having a job, or, they get out of college and they get this degree and they have the pump in circumstance and they're working at Starbucks. Yeah. And that is, I think that's been a real kind of eye opener for people. And that's, to me, that was where the side hustle came in. No, you get a job doing, something that you can do where you can make money and to survive. And you find a way to do the thing that you enjoy to make some money, whether it's a side hustle or, I guess it is a side hustle. And then at some point in life, you can flip that. Exactly. And there's never anything wrong with multiple streams of income. If you look at any wealthy person, they didn't do it on one stream of income. And they certainly didn't do it by depending on someone else for that income. That's very true. And we know, most people do not work for the same company for more than a handful of years. Seven is the statistic. Seven is the statistic. Mark has been here at Mayo for 24 years. That's a unique situation. Even, his even younger colleagues are not staying at an institution for that many years. So that goes to say, like you said, you really can't rely on that job if it's going to, because if you're always changing over every 7 years or 10 years, whatever it might be, I always kind of think every 10 years, we're a different person. We're in a different place in our life. So that's kind of how I see. So 7 years was interesting to me, where I've always thought, you know, every 10, kind of every decade, you're somebody else and you want something more. So that's an interesting statistic to know that. So yeah, if you're changing jobs on a regular basis, we'll call that, then, you know, the perks change. You know, the 401k is different, or whatever those other incentives are. Change.
And you know, I'm glad you brought that up regarding the 401k. I've never seen a 401k, and I've been in business since 2007, investment license since 2012. My husband is also an investment advisor, but I've never seen a 401k return more than 6-7%, which brings me to you know, a concept called the rule of 72. You ever heard of that, Denise?
I have not. Rule of 72. So do tell, educate me.
Okay. Yeah, this is very Googleable information. Rule of 72. You can put it right in Google and come up with these same numbers that I'm about to give you here. So what the rule of 72 tells us is approximately how many years it takes our money to double based upon the interest rate. And it's a simple calculation. You divide the interest rate into the number 72, and that gives you your answer. Okay, so say we all go to Atlantic City, right? And we win big. Everybody wins $10,000. Okay, you go skipping on down to your local credit union or bank, and they say, okay, yeah, we'll take your $10,000 and we will give you 3% interest on your $10,000. So your $10,000 will double every 24 years. 3 goes into 72 24 times. So at the end of 24 years, your 10,000 will become 20. In 48 years, you'll have $40,000.
Whoa, that's a long time.
To wait for 40,000. Yeah.
So wait for $40,000.
What if we say, well, you know what? How about if I just throw it into my 401k? I can do that, right? Right? Before I have to pay taxes on it and whatever. I don't know if you can do that. I'm not advising anyone to do that. I'm not an accountant. Disclaimer.
Yep. CYA.
Yes. But what if you find a vehicle that's earning about 6%? Now your money's doubling every 12 years. A little better. So you have your 10,000 in 12 years, it becomes 20. And in 24 years, it becomes 40, 36 years, 80. And in 48 years, it becomes 160,000. So it's a little better, right? It's better than 40,000 for sure.
Absolutely.
Right. And I always thought when I first started in finance, I always thought double the interest rate, you double the outcome, but that's not so. Here we quadruple the outcome. Because we're talking about compound interest. Now, what if you can get 12% on that money? Okay. And before everyone says, where are you getting 12%?
We're going to do that.
Hold that
You can't.
12%, your money's doubling every 6 years. Now that 20 grows every 6 years, 20 to 40 to 80, 160, 320, $640,000 by 36 years. In 42 years, it's 1.2 million. In the same 48 years, it's 2.4 million.
Whoa.
Okay. Where are you getting 12%? Since its inception, the market has returned an average of 10% since 1933.
Wow.
Okay. So I can tell you in every 20-year block, so you have your good years and your bad years, your up times and your down times. In every 20-year block, 0 downtime, 0. So, yeah.
So, yeah. So I can see where the market can be risky at times, like, oh, it's down 3% today, but next week it's up 7%, or, so it really does even itself out.
It does even itself out. And so what do we do when the market goes down like that? What do? We panic. We call our agent, like, what the heck? We say, okay, we're women, right? Denise, how do you like to shop? You like to shop when things are high, or you like to shop when things are on sale?
I love to shop when things are on sale. Right.
So this brings up the concept of buy low and sell high, right? So if the market's tanking, throw more money in is always the rule of thumb, right? So that's the rule of 72. Now, we touched a little bit on debt and college debt. Rule 72 can work for you or against you. It's the power of compound interest. So if
Yeah.
you have a debt, I mean, credit cards out there, I see an average, APR of 24%. So say you have $10,000 on a credit card. I hope you don't. But say you do, and the interest rate is 24%.
Wow.
That credit card company is doubling their money every 3 years for as long as you have not paid off that entire balance.
Wow.
That's how they make their money. So are they happy about me educating people like this? Probably
No.
not. But that's okay. People deserve to know this. I think this should be taught in 8th grade. As soon as the child can multiply and divide and have some, critical thinking skills, this is what should be talked about.
I agree.
how to
I
build
agree
wealth.
because it's not talked about. Like, I don't even think I didn't have this information when I was in college, in high school or college, unless you took that specific class, but it's not something that we talk about. And, growing up, my parents kind of lived paycheck to paycheck. So we didn't talk about money in this way. My parents were really good. We never went without anything. I never felt like we didn't have any money. I knew we weren't rich, but it wasn't until I went away to college that I realized that, man, my parents really did great with a little amount of money,
Yes.
And I'm amazed at what we did and what we had for what little money, my parents truly ended up making. You don't know that when you're in high school. And so, but like I said, we never had those conversations. So, the listeners here are mostly women, and a lot of women don't do the finances. So what do we, and Mark and I, we talk, I know what we're doing. He does it. But what about those women? There are a lot of single women out there who, really need to have this education. What's the first step for someone who's going, hey, wait a minute, I listened to this. I need to do something. What's the first thing that people should do?
Find someone you can trust. Find a financial coach that you can trust, that you can build rapport with, and that has your best interest at heart. Find someone that's going to teach you these simple concepts so that you can get ahead and not get taken advantage of, right? I walked into my bank with a significant amount of money after my mother passed away, and they wanted me to put it away for 2.5%. I said, just like this, sweetheart, do you know the rule of 72? And you're selling this stuff? Come on.
That's true.
Anyway,
that's true.
Yeah. So step one is find someone that you can trust, that has your best interests at heart. That could be me. My consultation is free. I speak in a way like a girlfriend's guide to finance, because I was that single woman for a number of years. I was that person who was married to a finance manager and an auto dealer. And I thought, because his name had the word finance in it, I thought he had it all going on. I thought he knew. And I was lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom at that time. But then when I learned a couple of things, I learned that we had made a couple of mistakes. And so I learned how to clean that up. I learned how to clean it up on my own and get rid of debt. I live completely debt-free right now. And no mortgage, nothing. Yeah. And
and that does take time, but you said you started off by using the word preparedness. If you're prepared in your 20s and 30s, even if you're in your 50s, ladies, if you're in your 50s, you're going to live till you're in your mid to late 80s, possibly into your 90s. So you got a long way to go.
Yeah, it's not too late. I always say, start from where you stand. But if you are listening and you're in your 20s, call me today, because here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a huge difference between the young 20-something who has the Roth IRA in place, who has the life insurance already in place, and has their game plan, has their emergency fund. They have it all going on. They're looking to buy a house, almost cash by 30.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side that decides, well, let me finish school. Let me start the job. Oh, I met the girl. Oh, now we bought a house. Now we're married. Now baby number 2 is on the way. Oh my gosh, I better do something. Now you have to put life insurance in the budget. Now you have to put your savings into the budget, and it's much harder.
Yeah. Michelle, you just muted yourself. Hold on. There you are. You're
Oh, I'm
back.
sorry. I did put my device on do not disturb, but there was a call coming in. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, it
Anyway,
happens.
I was just talking about the difference between, the 20-something who has their
Mhm.
savings and insurances and all that in place prior to starting the family. Because once you start the family, and now we're looking at diapers and formula and everything that comes with having a baby, babies are expensive. So if you already have that automated,
Mhm.
then it's much easier than trying to add it in,
Yep,
right? So
absolutely. Mhm.
plus a Roth IRA is available to anyone who earns income. So if you're 16 years old, you can have a youth Roth IRA.
Ah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize they had that.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. We talk it let's talk, financial independence. How does tell us steps, like starting today. What are, 3 steps we could take today? One, I
Okay.
guess, is find a financial coach that you trust.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't even have to be number one. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil. Don't do it on your phone. Don't go electronic. Piece of paper and a pencil. Go
Uh-huh.
old school and write down all of your expenses. All of your expenses. Netflix, getting your hair done, your nails done, all, your phone, everything. Write down everything. What do you spend on groceries? How many times a week do you go out to eat? How many, are you buying a bottle of wine every month or every week? Get clear, see what you got to see what your numbers are, and then write down next to that all of the money coming in.
Mm.
So, do you have child support? Do you have your job money? Do you have, I don't know, do you grow
Side
loofahs?
hustle.
Yes, side hustles. Do you grow loofahs in your backyard and make soap and sell it? I have a referral.
I think I know somebody who does loofahs.
So that's the first thing I would do. Get a handle on it. Look at it. You cannot change what you don't recognize. Okay. So get it on paper so you can see it. And then if you can find places where you can cut back and squirrel some money away in such a way that it's not going to be easy for you to touch it. I mean, it's so easy. You link your checking account to your savings account. Even I'm guilty of it. I'm like, oh, I'll just take $100 out of savings because I want that $90 blouse from Talbot's. It's okay, right?
Yep.
But this is my emergency new blouse. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because Mark and I just had this conversation the other day. When he puts money into I think we call it our Hawaii fund, because we have this idea that we're going to have a house in Hawaii, maybe. So we put it in. Once he puts it in the Hawaii fund, nothing comes out of that. He's done it one time when we bought the new car, and the new car was a year old and $10,000 cheaper than.
Yeah,
it was we did the right thing, but that's the only time. And he swore that we will never do that again. And the other day he's like, we came this close because, paying something out and something coming in. And when he said, no, it's a one-way street,
right?
Because it's such a slippery slope. Once you start doing that, you do it once and you do it again.
Right. It becomes too easy. So to, just to address that, ideally you should have 3 different accounts. Ideally, one should be very liquid, money in, money out, emergency fund. You need new tires. You need the refrigerator goes. You need money right now. Right.
Yeah.
The second one is your save to spend account, which sounds to me like that sounds like what your Hawaii fund might be. Save to spend. Right. So that's money you're going to be really disciplined about, because your why, so to say, your reason for having that money is really huge and really means a lot to you. And then the third account will be your wealth building account. This is your retirement account. This is money you're not going to touch unless, God forbid, you're starving in the street. Right.
That's actually a really good way to transition into this. So, starving in the street, we don't want that.
No.
There are ways that we can actually, and I think many of us are doing this more and more. We're talking, today we're talking about financial resilience and financial wellness, but we've also been talking about, at Living Healthy List, we talk a lot about nutrition and nutritional resilience. And I think this is kind of an interesting way to bring this in. Like you mentioned about your side hustle, like having a side hustle, and how, with the weather getting nice, gardening is a great one, stress relief. That's always good for a healthy lifestyle. But you've also mentioned it as, becoming your side hustle too. So let's talk about that a little.
Okay, there's a lot you can do. Well, I'm in New Jersey, so I'm in zone 7A, and that's also Googleable information. And quite frankly, gardening and they call it homesteading is getting to be a very popular thing, and people are doing it on Instagram. It's not hard to find some account that's doing it and follow them and learn. People are having ducks in their backyard and all this. So I do purchase from a company called Baker Seed Catalog. It's the Baker Seed Catalog, the Baker Seed Company.
Yep.
They are heirloom seeds, non-GMO, and they have every traditional, like lettuce, tomatoes, onions, peppers, all of that. And they have a lot of exotic things too. Okra, I call it exotic. A lot of people may not, but I never ate okra before I met my husband. So
That's actually, so we have tomatoes, peppers growing upstairs, and I just seeded okra because Mark is from Texas and he loves okra. It's the only other vegetable like I'm growing this year.
oh, that's funny.
It's
That's
so funny that you said that.
Yeah, so it's really not that hard to, buy a pack of seeds for a couple of dollars, throw them in some dirt, water them up. You could fertilize or not fertilize. You can fertilize, even that's cheap. You use your coffee grounds, use your eggshells, use your vegetable scraps that don't have fat on them. We make our own compost there, and there's a lot of people don't really know this, but you can take a deep dive into nutrition. This is where I get really geeky because my husband had a cardiac event in September. And prior to that, this was his second one. Prior to that, his first one was in 2017, and he went vegan. He went completely vegan. So we've been studying it since 2017. So a lot of people don't know how much protein is packed in broccoli,
Yep.
in spinach.
You were speaking my language, girl.
And all these like keto people are like, oh, what do you do for protein? I'm like, what do I not do for protein? And even we grow edamame.
Mhm.
The soybeans, they're so easy to grow. They grow like a weed so quickly, and they're so good. Also, the deer love them. So what we do about that is we grow the edamame very far away from our garden, so the deer go over there and eat it, and they're very happy and they don't bother the garden.
Ooh,
So
I like that. I was going to say, you said before, people have ducks in their garden. I'm like, I've got bunnies and deer, and occasionally there's a groundhog. I haven't seen him yet this season, but there's usually one that lives in my backyard because my office faces south. So so like there's sun and trees over there. So that's interesting. Edamame, yeah. It's interesting, when we talk, talking nutrition and, we're talking finances, like what does gardening and nutrition have to do? It has so much to do with your finances. Think about all the money that you're saving.
Oh my gosh, one zucchini plant all summer long. Come on. One zucchini plant, one tomato plant. What else you need?
Right. And that's true. I think I have like 10 tomato plants. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be making salsa or something at the end of the summer. But when you think about it, whether you go shopping at the supermarket or you go to the farmer's market, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Overall, like you can spend a lot of money at the farmer's market. The supermarkets are a little less expensive, but still there you're not sure what you're getting. Is it GMO? Is it organic or not?
Right.
When you grow it yourself, you know what you're getting. So we're hitting on, just with gardening, we're hitting financial wellness, but we're also hitting our physical wellness because of the food, and also our I guess mental or spiritual, because we're getting back to earth, we're getting back to the basics, getting our hands dirty.
Yes.
Which is the reason why I have no nail polish on, because I was digging in the dirt the last couple of days. So away went my manicure.
You need some good gloves is all.
Yeah, they never seem to work, because even when I start working with a trowel, I end up with my fingers in there, and that's okay. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. So Michelle, this has been a great conversation, and this half an hour has gone so quickly. So I definitely would love to have you back.
Oh, sure.
On another show. Tell people, please, how can our audience connect with you, get more information about you, and learn more about how they can become financially resilient?
Okay, so on Instagram is a very good way to find me, and you can find me on Robinson_team, or it might be team_Robinson, not sure.
We'll
And
check it out and I'll put it in the notes.
okay, I'm on Facebook. My personal page is Michelle Elliott Robinson, ELLIOTT. And my business page on Facebook is Team Robinson. Or, you can text me. I'm a texter.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, 732-619-6475. Or you can email me at harry.michelle.robinson@gmail.com.
Okay, I wrote that down. I'm like, I have your email. I'm like, why am I writing this down? I actually have this stuff.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good.
So yeah, let's get back together and talk about when you have an overabundance of tomatoes. Are we going to learn how to can them, or are we going to learn how to dehydrate them so you don't ever have to buy tomato paste again?
Ooh, now that's going to be an interesting conversation. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what our next conversation will be about. I'm going to hold you to that one.
Okay, sounds great. Denise, it was great to see you.
Same here. So thank you everyone for listening to the Wonder Series. We're here every week and we are sponsored by livinghealthylist.com. You can find us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, Spotify, Google. You can find us on YouTube, and please visit us over there, either on the podcast or on YouTube. Subscribe, and while you're there, like us. Make sure you hit the little bell so next time you get there's a new episode, you'll get notification. We're here every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will leave you with this until next time. Start wondering and start living. Thanks, everyone. You have a great week. Michelle, thank you again so much.
You're welcome. God bless.